Before we begin, this story contains depictions of violence and dark themes that some listeners may find disturbing. It is intended for a mature audience. This is a work of fiction. All characters, events, and incidents are products of the author's imagination. Viewer discretion is advised. Abberline, he followed that shadow, as he did that. She asked him if he wanted her to come along, but he refused, and leaving her there, he went on his own. He followed it, and soon he was out of the factory. He followed her out of the factory, but then it was just gone from there. Who was it, and why was it following them? Or it had already arrived, and they had shown up at his place. She followed him out, and being there, without wasting a moment, they returned to the station. "You know someone who might know about acids?" he asked her, as she sighed, thought for a moment there. "I know a teacher who teaches chemistry," she said to him, as he sighed. Been hearing it, he asked her to take him to his house. She heard him, and not what she was expecting him to say there, but then she realized he might not remember it. "You work night shifts, look around, do you see sun or something like that?" He gasped. "So what? He still might be awake." She gasped. "You're certain about it? As for what is known, schools and colleges start early in the morning, so I doubt he will be awake after midnight." Abberline chuckled at it. "Maybe he is just fucking his wife, or a whore." He said it with laughter. "Like you do," he heard her, and did not seem to like that. "I do not fuck my wife, or rather it's been a while since I do that. I fuck you, and you are neither one of them, nor my wife or a whore." She chuckled a little. "Then what am I to you?" she questioned. He was quiet at it, been looking out of the car. "You are like a sister that I have never had," he said, as she gasped there. "Got it, sister fucker," she laughed, as they returned to the station, "and he just sleeps there." He told her that they were going to see that teacher early in the morning, as he needed some important information there. As the morning was there, and whatever the sort of situation they were in, they went to the school to see him and get the information they needed. That teacher was a bald, tall man, in her late 40s, wearing a lab coat, as they were currently in the chemistry lab, as he was showing him the samples of acid Abberline had asked for. "Can they melt bones?" Abberline asked him without wasting a moment there. A nod from the teacher. "These acids are the most powerful ones, they can do that with rather ease." A gasp from him as he heard the teacher. "Let me show you," said the teacher, as he brought small glass trays and pieces of chicken bones, and masks for them to wear. He placed one bone in each tray and asked him to wear the masks. "When burning something, these acids release a smoke that, let's say, is lethal if inhaled in large quantities." They heard him. "Put on the masks," as the teacher grabbed one beaker of the acid, as Abberline grabbed the other one, and they begun with it, been filling the tray with acid. And as soon as it was filled, they stood there in silence, staring at it, and it was working there. The bones, they were melting, some were slower than the other, but it was working, and that is something they found rather scary. They thanked him as they took their leave from there. "So, you think that those containers might be filled with humans?" she said to him, as, after seeing everything, that is what she guessed there. "There's a chance for that. I mean, think about it, an abandoned factory, filled with containers of acid, famous for being haunted, where no one dares to set foot as the sun goes down. What could be a perfect place to get rid of the bodies, huh?" he said to her. She sighed, having been looking at him. She was just lost in her thoughts there for a moment or so. "But what does that prostitute have to do with everything, huh? And if they have a whole factory to dispose of dead bodies, why didn't they just throw her in there?" she asked him. He gasped, gave it a thought, wondering why, and then answered her. Maybe they wanted to do it, but somehow she managed to escape, somehow, and managed to get to the police station. She gasped. "So, what you are trying to say is that they are running a killing agency and using that brothel as a figurehead, and somehow those prostitutes are involved in it," he heard her say, and he certainly did not know what exactly had been going on there. Maybe, maybe not, and then he had it, a realization. He had thought of something there. He was quiet, his eyes had been pouring out of the sockets, he was just staring at the emptiness there, before he turned towards her. "I need complaints from everyone who went missing in this whole city in the last year or so." That wasn't a request, but an order. She sighed, smiled a little at him in frustration, as she shook her head a little. "A whole year, and the whole city? You serious?" A nod from him. "That's a lot of work, and I doubt that the seniors want you to have them. You know what I am talking about." He smiled a little at this. "They're involved in it too." I saw fear in his eyes. He said to her, "And do you know what happens to the officers who aren't corrupt? You might end up in that acid container. You really wanted to do it." He laughed at it. "You want me to tell you with a kiss there?" He smiled at her, as she shook her head a little at it. "I will get you what you have asked there," she said as they took their leave from there. Been looking through the year's worth of records? Well, it isn't that easy to do. It's not something that you can do in a single sitting or a single night. No, rather it took them days. Abberline himself worked on it, along with her and a few more officers. Days, but how many people could go missing in a year, huh? And the two in a single city, huh? 5, 10, 20, huh? No, the number of 121 people. And that too from every age. There were infants to old people, and now they sorted that list into two, those who were found, and the second one, those who were never found. That narrowed it down to 42 people, who went missing and hasn't found yet. Okay, now what? Are you going to find these people or what? She asked Abberline, who sat there in silence, with his neck stretched up, holding a cigarette in his hand. He seems to be lost in some sort of daydream. It took him a moment or so to break free from there. Now, he said, been taking a deep breath there. I want to know when they were seen last, at what time, and what places, and if there's a suspect, I need to know that too. And there's one more thing, if there's a connection between these people, something that somehow connects these people, no matter in what ways, he ordered them. And none of them seemed happy to be listening to it. They glared at him, the rage was there on their faces, as they believed that there's no point in doing it. He was just wasting their time and nothing else. But they still do it, because they can't say no to him, and besides, who doesn't want to waste time? And for the next few days, they have a portion of the station booked for them. They stayed there night and day, they ate, they sleep, and the only time they went home is to take a bath and change into new clothes. And that work of theirs, well, it paid off, but not in the way it should have been. She noticed a pattern there, not in all of them, but some of them. There were torn pages, redacted names and lines, and not in just a couple of them, but in the majority of them. As soon as she noticed that, she told him about it. They're trying to protect someone, he gasped at it. But who? She questioned as she sat there, holding her hands together upon the table. He sat there in silence, holding a cigarette and taking a sip from his whiskey. Someone powerful, huh? Maybe a top ranking from the police department, a politician, some gangster, or maybe the pimp who runs the brothel. He took a puff. Could be any one of them, she sighed. But who? You can't just assume it. If there's someone powerful involved in those missing cases, well, then it isn't going to be easy for you to proceed forward with the case. And you know why? He laughed at her, smiled a little there. I get it what you are trying to say here, but now we have a pattern. In case you were forgetting, these records came from different stations throughout the city, and an in charge like me, well, my power limited to my station, but there's someone who has the power over us, and seeing files from this station too, whom I didn't even know about. She interrupted him. Oh please, you're either drunk or sleeping through most of the cases. He laughed at it. Whatever, but you know my track record, and now seeing this, there's only one person who came to my head, so, why don't we pay him a visit? He wanted to see that person at this very moment, but she stopped him. Look at the clock. If you disturb him at this hour, it's not your job you are losing tonight, but your life too. So let's wait till the morning. What do you say? He gasped at it, having been sitting there in silence, thought about it for a moment or so, and then agreed with her. He waited till the morning to go and visit him, but before going to meet him, he went to his house, along with the female officer, just to freshen up before they went to meet him, and in there, they took a shower together, during which they had a small session of lovemaking. And after having their breakfast, they were a bit tired there, so they fell asleep there, and they slept for a long time, longer than they had expected. It was almost evening when they woke up. And there is not much time left before his duty came to an end, so they rushed to his office, towards the superintendent's office. Do you really think that you should tell him about this? She said there. Well, if he is involved in it too, you are going to be in trouble, and me along with you, so think before you do something there. He laughed at this. I know what I am doing, and I know what he is going to do, and somehow I believe that pimp is involved in it, and I know what might going to happen, so, let it happen. He said it with a smirk on her face there, and she couldn't understand what he meant by it, or whatever that has been going on in his head, but she knew that something worse is about to happen, and somehow she has this feeling that she has to make a decision soon, but him and her job, and she knew what she is going to choose. She hates him for whatever he is going to do there, but at the same time, she is curious about it too.